Hello and welcome to a brief history of heroes. We're doing it in a different place this time, where today we are going to be assembling some Avengers.
Clever. Eiffel Tower!
So, as our little intro sequence there said, we're talking about the Avengers. If you didn't catch that clever little pun.
If they didn't, then they have horrible reflexes.
That is true.
Now, so the original members are actually somewhat similar to what they are today in the the very popular Marvel movies. Not quite, though. The original members are Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Hank Pym as Ant-Man, and his wife, Wasp.
There is actually some little issue with that. Captain America wasn't actually one of the original members.
Yeah, no, that's true. Captain America wasn't a founding member of the Avengers. He was found frozen in the 4th issue, I believe.
Yeah.
Of the Avengers comics, and then he was drafted into the Avengers.
Now, for those of you who haven't seen or heard of Captain America, we are very
surprised. I'm surprised.
I was surprised and somewhat disappointed.
What can you expect?
Steve Rogers, that's Captain America. He was.
Don't tell anyone now.
Yeah, shh. It's not like everybody
actually.
knows. It's not
he doesn't have a secret identity. Everyone actually, I'm pretty sure, knows who he is. He's just kind of there.
So Steve Rogers, he volunteered for the Super Soldier program. It was actually Private Steve Rogers during World War II, I think it was.
Yeah, he had like pages worth of health problems, but he wanted to join the military to fight against, the Nazis. They were kind of a thing, World War II. And in this, in the Marvelverse, they were led by the Red Skull, I believe, in addition to Hitler.
Yeah. Well,
the Red Skull was the leader of Hydra. Yes, thank you. I'm sorry. Which was like the secret behind-the-scenes organization that often plagues the Avengers. And this super soldier serum that the American government gave him a number of powers: super strength, endurance, agility. His brain processes information. I want to say 10 times as fast. I can't quite remember.
I don't know what it is, but the scientists
much faster than an average human, which has led to the incorrect and incessantly irritating.
He can see faster.
He can see faster, which isn't true. That's not a thing.
It's
Don't
perception,
say it.
enhanced perception.
Yeah, he can perceive events faster.
Moving on.
Iron Man.
Iron Man. He's actually probably one of my favorite Marvel heroes.
Yeah.
Other than Spider-Man. Which I know is kind of stereotypical, but still.
It's okay.
He was known as the world's greatest weapons inventor, Anthony Snark.
I know where you're going with this. Wrong universe, buddy. Anthony Stark.
Stark, who goes by Tony Stark, as he doesn't like the name Anthony. He was on a business trip with the military in, I want to say, Indonesia.
It was somewhere.
I want to say around
in
Middle East, Indonesia area.
He was trying to sell the military his weapons. He was kidnapped by a terrorist cell.
They were miniaturized transistors, which
what are those, please?
They are like tiny.
I don't know either.
They're like tiny battery type things. In order to they are able to make super strong and big weapons smaller. For example, like a huge rocket launcher or a cannon or something. They'd be able to take it and make it so they'd be able to carry it through the dense woods of.
Right. Okay, I see what you mean now. Now that I know what those are.
The enemy spies. They weren't spies. It was just
it was a terrorist cell. They knew, obviously. Most everyone in the world knows Tony Stark. He's very publicized. He's very much a man of the press.
And
so they knew who he was. They kidnapped him.
Tyler Wilson, meet your dad at the loading dock. Tyler Wilson.
Sorry about that. There was an announcement.
It was quite rude, actually. Now, picking up where we left off, Tony Stark attacked. Somehow they defeat the entire military presence there. I don't know. Don't ask. Me anyway.
Involved.
Yeah, no, there were many explosions. Lots of it.
There was shrapnel that pierced Tony Stark's heart.
Yeah, no, he did actually get wounded during the kidnapping, and they put him in this cell area, kind of. It was like a workshop, and they wanted him to make weapons. So he made weapons, but they weren't for them.
What the terrorist group, they told him, they're like, if you have shrapnel that has been pierced to your heart.
Which is true, by the way. They didn't tell him to scare him. Like, this is actually, it was true.
And if you build us weapons, then we will use our best scientists to remove it. Tony, being the clever little bugger that he is.
Tony being infinitely smarter than their best scientists.
He said, he thought, like, as he was agreeing to build weapons for them, he said, he was thinking, this is in the first comic, that I know that I only have weeks to live, so I'm going to build weapons, alright, but not for them. I'm going to build something to keep me alive.
Yeah.
And this is Steve, by the way.
You're just going to randomly throw Steve out there?
Yeah.
Steve, okay.
A little skeleton in the intro.
Yeah, he has a sticker slapped to the side of his head. We're not sponsored.
Not at all. Okay.
So after Iron Man, he builds the first Iron Man suit, which is very clunky, very bad, really, in comparison to all the other Iron Man suits. And
they don't actually ever get much better. It's very big, large strain on his heart. It needs, clunky. It has uses his mini transistors to to give some like simulated flight, which just by using magnet repelling. Actually, it wasn't actually thrusters. Well, it did have thrusters in the boots, but that was a later model. But yeah,
Tony Stark. Now the Hulk, Bruce Banner, whichever you prefer.
Actually, I'm pretty sure Hulk minds.
Yeah, it makes a difference to Hulk. Don't call him Banner. Bruce Banner, he's a scientist experimenting with gamma radiation in the beginning. There's a terrible accident in his experiments. The radiation seeps into Banner and gives him this monstrous strength and everything, but the side effect of obviously becoming the Hulk, as he's deemed, a large green monster full of rage.
He's kind of mindless, but not mindless. He's really smart.
The Hulk is very intelligent,
but
he doesn't use it.
Except until he becomes Grey Hulk at a later point.
Yeah, no, as Grey Hulk, he retains all of Banner's intelligence and, I don't want to say personality. He's
not the personality.
Grey Hulk is calmer, much calmer than the normal Green Hulk, but he's still the Hulk. He's no less strong.
Moving on to...
Yeah, there's not a lot on Bruce Banner. I mean, yeah, he has enhanced strength, he has amazing regeneration, his strength is limitless. The angrier he gets, the stronger he gets.
Which makes him near invincible. Because also the angrier he gets, the faster he will regenerate.
Basically, his power is fueled by his anger.
That's why when he becomes calm, he turns back into Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
Now, moving on to Hank Pym, or Ant-Man, depending on what you want, whatever...
Specifically Hank Pym as Ant-Man.
Yeah. Hank Pym discovered a particle which was...
Were subsequently named Pym particles because he's really arrogant and vain. He's not actually arrogant.
No, he's nothing like Tony Stark, except in the fact that he's
genius.
Near genius level intellect. The Pym particles, as of course they were named, gave the ability to...
Shrink down, like... I forget how far he actually does shrink down.
It's about to the size... It's bigger than an atom, because it shrinks the space between them, not...
Yeah.
As
the movie seemed to forget when they said it shrunk the space between atoms and then subsequently made him shrink smaller than atoms.
Smaller than...
Not...
They made him shrink smaller than the actual...
atoms. And
things that we've been... The smallest particle we've discovered that I subsequently forget the name of.
It's okay. He shrunk smaller than atoms.
Yeah, which is impossible.
Yeah, by their definition of Pym particles. Anyway, the Ant-Man suit was built in order to harness these particles, allowing him to shrink to minuscule sizes. However, he rarely, if ever, will fight. He is very much a pacifist. And it's him being this pacifist but still wanting to protect the world that leads him to have Tony Stark's help in creating Ultron. Who is one of the biggest enemies to the Avengers and one of the only, if not maybe, one of extremely few villains that actually do defeat the Avengers. Now we'll get to him actually telling about Thor.
The God of Thunder, not really a god, but deemed a god.
He is godlike to mortals.
He's a demigod.
Something like that.
Yeah. Because I don't think Odin is actually a god, is he?
in the Marvelverse, the Nordic gods, as it were, gods air quotes, they are called that because their strength and cunning and intelligence and everything is
unmatched to any human by any human.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wouldn't say unmatched. Tony Stark would probably argue with you.
And
Peter, Ben, because
Peter.
I don't know.
Spider-Man, he is incredibly
Peter
smart.
Parker is intelligent, but not on the level of Tony Stark.
No, it is near genius level intellect,
Yes.
though.
Tony Stark is
Back to
far
Thor.
past genius level intellect, honestly, and he'll tell you the same thing, with much more enthusiasm.
Back to Thor.
Yeah, the Nordic gods are considered godlike in their abilities and such. They're not They're by no means indestructible or immortal.
Anyway, Thor was born in a cave somewhere in Norway. I don't think there is an exact location as to where.
I'm not sure either.
But
Miscellaneous cave.
Odin kind of cheated on his wife, Ferris or something. I don't remember her name.
Frigga?
Yeah, Frigga.
I believe.
Frigga. That's what it was. I just looked at it too.
Yeah.
Frigga with
'Cause that's
the
shown.
Earth goddess Gaia.
That was a big deal.
And then, I don't know.
They angry.
Yeah. Once he was born,
She angry.
Odin took him up to Asgard with him and raised him with Frigga
Yeah.
As
For
a
some, I
warrior.
guess that was never questioned. I don't know why.
as a warrior, and he was like the best
he was raised as a warrior.
with his twin brother, or not twin, his
His brother Loki. Thor very quickly proved he was a man of action. And it's one of the legends. Yes, it's the legend of Loki. I believe it was there was something to do with Thor's wife in mythos, not in this universe. Thor's wife, Lady Sif, and oh, that's right. He gave her a necklace that caused all of her hair to fall out as a prank,
Thor got
or
angry.
something like that.
I'm pretty
There
sure
was
that-
the
I've heard
the
that.
dwarven smiths were challenged to make 3 objects. They made a ring, pure golden ring that duplicated itself like every 24 hours. They made something else that I don't remember. And each day they made for 3 days, and then on the 3rd day they were crafting Mjolnir when Loki, as a fly, bit the smith's hand, which made him flinch, which made the handle on Mjolnir so short. And that's how Mjolnir came into existence. And Thor was, of course, given Mjolnir, and when he has Mjolnir in his possession, which is rarely is it not, and even then he can call it back to him, actually. He can
Actually,
summon the hammer back
yeah,
to him through whatever obstacles it needs to go through.
the enchantments. It's a fun fact about Mjolnir. The enchantments weren't put on there when they were forged.
Yeah, no, they were later put on by Odin,
When he
who is like the source of magic, I believe, in
Asgard.
with the Odin Force, of course.
Yeah.
One of the most powerful. It puts him on the level of Galactus and these just massive universe-threatening beings. However, of course, he is peaceful. Very peaceful, especially because Thor has
Isn't.
very much love for what he calls Midgard,
Which is Earth.
which is Earth.
One of the 9 realms that he protects.
On
Anyway.
the World Tree of Yggdrasil. Not important, that's Norse mythos.
Mjolnir gives Thor a various amount of abilities.
Various number of abilities, including sword of flight. Basically, he spins.
It's simulated
In
flight.
some universes, he can fly on his own. Otherwise, he spins his hammer around and around and around and around, right round, baby, right round.
And then he throws it
Throws it, but he hangs on to it.
with the leather strap.
Yeah, with the
around
leather
it.
strap, and he holds onto the hilt, and it just he's gone. He goes.
Thor's other abilities, without the
hammer, he has
is increased strength and extended lifespan, a dense bone
very
structure.
dense bone structure, which is part of what makes him so hard to hurt.
Mm-hmm.
He alone has some limited control over the weather, and he can actually cause earthquakes.
Mm-hmm.
With Mjolnir, he has much greater control over lightning and storms, however.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us in Brief History of Heroes. We've hopefully kept it short enough.
We'll see you guys. Well, actually, before we end off this video, if you're watching this on YouTube, please leave a like and a comment on what you thought of the video on the commentary.
Yeah, we like feedback. We appreciate feedback.
Tell us who you want to talk about next on the Brief History of Heroes, or
Or our normal History of Heroes, even. Just make sure
if
you know.
we actually ever get through our list of
we
things here.
can change it.
Yeah, we can. If
Nothing
you
in
have,
our script is solid.
if you have anything that you want us to change or talk about, please leave a comment down below. Subscribe. Tell your friends about us. And we'll see you guys next time.
Okay.
Bye!